Welcome to the Stek vs 20 years of Sonic the Hedgehog. Today, it's the turn of Sonic 2. So, after the huge success of Sonic the Hedgehog, Sega, wanting to capitalise on that success, churned out Sonic 2 in only a year. This was obviously the days when it was possible to churn out a game in only a year and it actually be a good game. Sonic 2 had better graphics, sound and animation, but this would all be overshadowed by the introduction of Sonic's new sidekick, Miles Tails Prower. The little orange two-tailed fox that will follow you through most of the game and is apparently immortal. Well, that's due to the fact that every time he dies he just flies into shot really. Tails, despite his annoyances, can actually be of use. A second player can press start on their controller, which allows them to play as Tails with all of the benefits, and none of the ability to lose lives or rings as playing. And, also, Tails is capable of helping out on the bonus stages, whether a second character is controlling him or not. The bonus stages that consist of Sonic and Tails running down a 3D half-pipe, collecting a certain amount of rings for each of the 3 checkpoints, along the way avoiding bombs. Besides Tails, the other new character will greet Sonic before the final boss as the minor antagonist, Metal Sonic. The most important gameplay mechanic to be added to Sonic 2 was the spin dash attack, performed by pressing down and revving up with the jump button. When released, would send Sonic flying across the floor and through badniks. Finally, the introduction of 2-player into Sonic was in the form of a race, which would have 2 characters running across 3 predetermined stages to get to the end first. Also, there was the ability to play the bonus stages with the 2 players trying to collect the most rings. Well, now that's over with, let's play some Sonic. And this is Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I suppose one thing to mention to begin with is, yes, Tails. I don't know why everybody loves him so much, to be completely honest. He kind of gets on my nerves. I can't help it, he just... It's not that he's there, it's the actual character itself, to be completely honest. It's the kind of the perpetual child thing. I really just wish, we get to the stage, even now, 20 years later, where Sonic and Tails are just both grow up a bit. It's all the anime and, the modern Sonic Dreamcast games that have Tails with just that annoying, really childish voice. But I suppose, I can't really say anything about it. And the one thing that I suppose is really mentionable is, yes, I did mention the bonus stages. I suppose the difference between the bonus stages and the special stages later on is worth mentioning, but for now, let's try get the bonus stage. And in comparison to the Sonic the Hedgehog 1 bonus stages, I've got to say I really do like the Sonic 2 bonus stages. They're not too complicated. The only thing that really is kind of frustrating in this is, well, the background. And yes, it's quite badly graphicked. It's worth mentioning, and obviously, we were talking about graphics, is look at Sonic and Tails. Look at them by comparison to the background. There's a lot of effort been put into Sonic and Tails in this bonus stage. And it's a bit of a shame, really, because, we don't really see the back of Sonic's head now for another, 10 years? Completely honest, I probably should work that out later, but, yeah, I'm doing this off the cuff right now. And we don't really see the back of, Tails' head either. And it's a bit of a shame, really. I suppose it's worth, they have put a lot of effort really into the character models in the bonus stages. It's just a shame that they really don't match up that well with the background. A bit about the bonus stage itself, really. Obviously, you'll have noticed that I'm spending all my time collecting rings. The idea is that there are 3 checkpoints in which you have to collect a certain amount of rings, and then at the end you get a Chaos Emerald. The only real frustrating thing about the actual bonus stages themselves is the little dips when you're going and you can't see anything, because you're guaranteed that's where the bombs usually are. It's usually worth jumping when you get to the end of that dip, because they do make a point of putting the actual bombs behind there, because it just gets so annoying later on when they get faster. And I suppose when we're going to talk about graphics, I might as well carry on talking about graphics. That's what I started on, really. Been riffing on it. Well, Sonic 2 is an insane jump up from Sonic 1 by comparison. You know, it's in Sonic 2 where we really started to see what the Mega Drive was actually capable of. And yes, I said Mega Drive. I live in the UK, so I will be calling it a Mega Drive and not a Genesis. And it's, you know, it really is quite amazing what they did with Sonic 2 by comparison. It does look so much better. And it even sounds better, which, you know, is always good. It's nice to see that between two games, unlike a lot of series, you know, they did make a lot of leaps and bounds. And again, as I said with Sonic 1, you know, it really is, it shows in Sonic games. Well, it shows in the original Sonic games anyway. The modern Sonic games, sometimes they drop off a little bit. But it really does show that they put a lot of work and effort into these games. And I'm back. Yeah, what I did was I actually cut out the second bonus stage. I didn't really want to bore you with it, to be completely honest, seeing as obviously we've already shown you it. And it's worth mentioning now that obviously with the Sonic 1 game, the bosses came every 3 stages. And obviously later that changed, but for the basis of the game, it was every 3 stages. For some reason, they cut it down in Sonic 2 to every 2 stages. Apparently, this is due to the fact that these stages are significantly longer, but to be completely honest, when I'm speeding through it, I can't tell that well. But at least, you know, we still have the differences in each stage. They do put a lot of effort into making sure that each stage does look graphically and visually, I suppose. It's worth more mentioning than graphically different. And yes, this is another Robotnik bonus stage, and yes, this is another tedious, annoying, just wait for him to come at you, jump out the way, and except for that one lasts a little bit, and then it's done. I suppose I do quite like the end animations on these bosses, and the little getaway that he does have at the end. It's just kind of that last little touch of detail that I do enjoy in these games. And yes, what I'll do this time is, last time I only played through the first stage. This time I'll go through the first 2 stages, which will be 4 acts. The reason for that is that obviously, you know, they are a bit shorter, and I did about 2 minutes on that bonus stage, and I am going to cut that out. And let's just 1 second drop back, because what I'll talk about in this game is the spin dash and how much of a send that is. By comparison to the first game, being able to spin dash is really, really nice. And it does help things out quite a lot. And whoops, that was an accident. Yeah, the Sonic 2 stages can kind of send you around where they want you to go rather than where you want to go. They do have that ability to be able to knock you backwards and forwards with the different springs. It can at some points become frustrating when you want to get somewhere. But I suppose really when it's a Sonic game, you just gotta go with the flow. Spin forwards and just keep running. That's all you can do. And in this game, you know, it is worth it, really, because it is really an enjoyable game by comparison to most. I mean, I do enjoy platformers, and as I said before, I do miss platformers and how they originally were. And I really do enjoy the Sonic games. And I'm really looking forward to playing Sonic 4. I honestly am. You know, I do play a lot of RPGs these days, but I am quite looking forward to playing Sonic 4. And I say looking forward to because even at this stage, I've still not actually played Sonic 4. Well, the idea was that I wanted to actually wait until I did these videos to play Sonic 4. I know it's been out for a long time by comparison of when I've done these videos, but I just wanted to be able to enjoy it and go straight from Sonic 4 and then straight into Generations. Because obviously, that's why I'm doing these videos. It's Sonic's 20th birthday. And I wanted to honour that fact. But really what I want to say is that this is my experience with Sonic. I know everybody differs, and a lot of the modern games will not be covered. Because I really fell out of favour with Sonic after the Dreamcast, when things started getting a little odd, really. Well, not odd, but they started to lack a bit, unfortunately, you know. I did play that Rings game, the one based on the Alibaba story, with the Nintendo Wii. But unfortunately, it just was lacking, which was the truth. And it was very frustrating at a lot of points, and the gameplay wasn't particularly brilliant. But this is an old school Sonic game, and as a result, it's lovely. Well, I don't know if lovely is the right term, but it is very enjoyable. And those things are a damn nightmare. They drop down, pick you up, and then grab hold of you and keep you. And that is one of the ways that Tails can come in handy in this game. Because yes, he can save you from certain things, and I know I'm flitting forwards and backwards between different subjects, but that's just how my train of thought works, to be completely honest. I am doing this completely off the cuff. And let's say this sticks me. Yeah, odd thing about some of the stages on Sonic, the general idea is that you will run from left to right to finish a Sonic level, but in a lot of these stages you can actually end up running back on yourself, which, you know, it makes it feel more like what came to be affectionately termed as, I believe, Metroidvania. You know, that kind of, well, boxed in feeling that you get from a lot of modern sandbox games. And, you know, I think in Sonic it does have its place. It certainly, as especially with Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles, it really does give the Sonic games a greater depth to their actual storytelling. And, oh, water. Yes, the bane of Sonic's existence. Water. Which, to be honest, you know, I've seen a lot of places say, well, you know, Robotnik is the main bad guy in Sonic. But the truth is that the worst enemy in Sonic is the water. And yes, it is an absolute nightmare. I really do resent water stages. I can't help it, I just hate the water. It's just so annoying in Sonic. It slows you down, it becomes frustrating. It's like swimming through treacle rather than water. The physics are so kind of odd on the game. And I believe I recognise this bit. It's been a long time since I've played this game, but I am getting somewhere close to the boss. So I will be starting to wrap this up and trying not to die along the way. Actually, I've been doing quite well, to be honest. As I said in my Sonic 1 review, well, not a review, my Sonic 1 play and talk, whatever you want to call it, I do kind of suck. I will happily admit. You know, I have never got the Chaos Emeralds on most of these games. The only game I actually got all the Chaos Emeralds and subsequently the Master Emeralds was Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles. And that was mainly due to the save feature. And yes, one of the more enjoyable Sonic bosses, really, I suppose. It's kind of an odd one, really. You know, it's again one of those little dive ones, but it's the nuance to the boss itself that makes it more interesting. Like the platforms on the left and right that are diving in and out of the way, and the fact that he's dropping goop on me. It's just, you know, it's those touches in the Sonic games that really make them good. And yes, I've died many a times by falling off that last platform. And yes, it sucks, and yes, it's stupid. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. So, I might as well wrap this up right now. That was Sonic 2. Hope you've enjoyed it. And yes, there will be a skip because I've cut out the second bonus stage. And I'm the Stek. See you around.